Hey everybody, how's it going? It is the Fantasy Rugby. My name's Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
Welcome back. It's week 2 of the World Cup, and we are excited. Everybody have fun watching the World Cup this weekend. Lots of good rugby.
It was an excellent weekend. It was for those who are not in the U.S., I didn't even bother to watch the NFL on Sunday. I just watched rugby.
I didn't watch a lot of it, honestly. I had my iPad set up with Red Zone.
Yep.
And then I had the games on here that I missed because I was away all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got some catching up to do.
Right. And we were both of us were pretty much gone all day Saturday. Off, for our own rugby.
No
match.
Spoilers. We didn't get any spoilers.
No, one
guy tried to.
One guy tried to, and I shut that down quickly.
Yeah.
And overall he was wrong anyway. So
Yeah.
he asked me if I thought South Africa played bad, and I was like, I haven't seen it. Don't just shut up.
Just quiet.
And I'm like, dude, watching the game, they actually, and we'll get to it, but
asked the son of a South African guy.
right.
So,
So he had a vested interest in it a little bit, but
Yep.
at the same time, that was as close as I came to getting spoiled by any of the matches.
Right.
It helps that nobody else has actually bought the package. So
yeah, everybody's way behind.
Right.
Because I'm in our WhatsApp group, and everybody is way behind on that. I think they just got a couple of them just got it.
Okay.
So they're going to be either
Now
catching
that
up or just saying screw it, and they'll just watch the next batch coming up late tonight for us.
Yeah.
Week 1 or week 2 rather, match 1.
Starts middle of the night tonight.
Yeah, so I'll be waking up and popping that on at work tomorrow because when you work for yourself, you get to do fun things like that.
Must be fucking nice.
Let's pop open the beers and pour them into these lovely glasses.
They are lovely glasses. I feel weird defiling the glasses with these.
But that's what they're meant for.
That is what they're meant for.
I think it'd be weirder if we didn't defile the glasses with beer. It'd be weird if we defiled the glass with something else that's not beer. Maybe that's what it is. If it was like...
But these are nice glasses with our new logo on them and everything.
A wine spritzer or something like that.
Thanks, Sharon. You fucking rock.
So how you liking your upgrade?
It is pretty pimp.
Yes.
And it's not even the full upgrade, right? It's just kind of like the basic version.
We have the basics, so...
And it's still, like, when I'm going through looking at players, I came back at late Thursday night after rugby practice and was decided to do some tinkering, as you do at, of course, at 11 p.m. after rugby practice.
Stinker.
Exactly. And it actually, I think it worked out to my benefit, but... yeah, I mean, it was just so nice to be able to see, who's starting, who's not even rostered, without even having to...
Big old red dot next to your name means not even in the team. I was like, that's really helpful.
Extremely helpful.
It's a nice flag to say, get him out, get him out, get him out.
And then it's helpful. You can click on the players, even once the games are going on, and as you're accumulating points, you can see how you're getting them. So you can see,
I love the new live update,
right?
That they did. They did about halfway through the year last year, and it's awesome.
Right.
I really do like it.
So you can see like, Scott Barrett went off. Oh, that's pretty amazing. Oh wait, he had a ridiculous breakaway.
Yeah.
I can't expect that again, but
right.
It's nice to know that that's what he did, so you can kind of see where he got his points and be like, all right, so I can't expect to try.
There were a couple of those,
and he made a bunch of and there were some that, like, I think it was my hooker,
Horry.
I think it was Horry, who I had as my backup. I think he made something like 18 tackles or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I'm like, whoa, that's
not something I expected out of that.
No.
So crazy stuff. But yeah, so everybody make sure that you are investigating the Rugby Mag upgrades. It's not too late for World Cup. And of course, if you're going to play along with the likes of us for Premiership and Super Rugby, you're going to want it there too, for sure. It carries over. It's no big deal. Just do it. You won't regret it, I promise. And if you really want to ball out, then let us know how that goes, because we're liking this. So I can only imagine what it would be like to ball out to the next 2 levels. So everybody make sure you're checking those things out. News and notes. Not a lot of news per se. There's some injuries, but we'll get to the injuries as we go through the games, because the obviously that's when they happened. But for me, and we just actually having this conversation about 2 minutes ago, before we started recording. Twitter's a place that can be one of two things: an absolute train wreck or very magical.
Sometimes at the same time.
Yeah, sometimes at the same time. But you choose. And those that are choosing to just be complete jerks right now, can you please stop? It's the World Cup. I know nothing is really that heavily on the line. There were a couple games this week that had some implications, but we know the teams that are likely to get through. So until it comes to like knockout stage time, can we just dial down the bitchiness and enjoy it?
Right. I saw Ali Stokes talking about on the Twitters talking about some people are bitching out the refs, and I'm like, I don't see any of them having a particularly bad game for any of them.
No.
I mean, Barnesy can't officiate a scrum. We know that.
Yeah, but it was also garbage weather too. That
Right.
did not help in any way, shape, or form.
So what else is there to complain about?
Right.
I mean,
I thought there was some excellent refereeing. I thought there was some good decisions that were made in this week.
Mm-hmm.
The one that sticks out in my brain is the Callum Mahoney, Anthony Watson tackle.
Okay.
Where it was just a penalty.
Right.
They decided Callum Mahoney, he was really trying to get low, and
Right.
Watson just happened to be falling down, and they decided penalty only, no foul play. Or I don't even know if they gave a penalty, but either way, they didn't.
Yeah.
There was no card, and there was no malice, and they recognized it, and they made the decision quickly.
Right.
I was like, yes, quick decisions.
and as always, Nigel did an amazing
Oh,
job.
I love that, man.
And I want to point out a sequence of plays where Japan took a kick, I think inside their 22. I think it was the winger. I'm not sure which one ran it out and just got outside the 22. And Russia weren't releasing him in tackle. He got his knee down, and so he tells Russia, he's like, release, it's a tackle, you got to let him go. They let him go. He says, thank you. And then he immediately tells Japan, you're outside, which, fantastic. He's telling them the condition of where they're playing. You're outside. Yeah. So Japan, they play the next phase. The guy was tackled inside the 22, and it says, now you're inside. And then they kick it to touch. Like, that kind of officiating, just talking to the players, letting them know what they need to do, how they need to do it, that's huge.
It's appreciated by the players, I can tell you that.
Yeah. But that's his style. And then there's another style with the New Zealand official who refereed, was it Fiji, Australia that I
O'Keefe?
About? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Kiwis just aren't as communicative.
I know there was a ball that was questionable as to whether or not it was out of the ruck. I don't remember how it happened. It was just inside Australia's 22 or right around Australia's 22. And Fiji saw, free ball. Is that okay? And the referee kind of just looks at him like, oh. Yeah, O'Keefe's like, whatever, you do what you're going to do. And the Fiji player jumps on it. And he's like, oh, penalty. You can't do that. And it's like, well, why can't you just tell him?
Just tell me next time.
Right. And that's not bad officiating because it's his interpretation. He doesn't have to tell you what you can and can't do.
No, he doesn't have to.
So that doesn't mean he's a bad official. It just means that's how he communicates. You can always ask him. You can always just look, instead of looking at him for him to say something, you can always, is that ball out? Mm-hmm. And he can answer no.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't bother to do that. So none of that is bad officiating. No. And I didn't have any problem with any of the French referees that I normally do. So I don't know where people are having such.
Yeah, I had one glaring issue, but it wasn't a real glaring issue. So
right.
And it wasn't anything that I wanted to put my foot down.
None of them cocked up any games, and none of them had any impact on any outcomes. So what more do you want from your officials? How can you complain about that?
Yeah. Show your boots, guys. Show your boots.
Yeah, we just started this.
Yeah, we are. We're not even a week in because we started Friday. We went over the weekend. That's it. Okay, and now maybe that nobody has any more time on their hands, and hopefully they're working. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're not working that much. Let's be real. But hopefully that will dial that down just a touch.
Hopefully so. Good
Lord. There was somebody. Was it Paul Williams that's on Twitter that we're friends with, and said something like, no matter what happens, we will be nice to each other on Twitter.
Yes.
I was like, yes.
That was exactly it.
Yeah, I was like, please.
This should be enjoyable. This should be a positive experience for everyone. Yeah. So let's make it that way.
I know the Japanese fans are making it a very
They're doing a great job.
Very positive experience.
Love those guys.
Yeah. So Namibia scored, and there's like one lone Namibian guy, poor guy, and he scores. But they're just like, they don't have any allegiance to anybody, so they're like high-fiving with him because he's obviously very excited that they scored.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be?
Your team scored a World Cup try. It's a good time to celebrate.
They scored first in the game.
They did. That was great. That was a good one. Let's go jump right into it. The opener. Japan, Russia. Any big news or any big notes off of that one? I mean, it was a decent opener. Japan were probably a little bit in the mud to start. Russia came out like a house on fire.
Russia impressed me. for all the talk that and we're not the only ones who have said that they don't belong.
No.
They proved that at their best they belong on the stage. But then there's the but.
Big old but.
They still got blown out by 20.
Yes.
And it still really wasn't that close a game. So, and they scored first. Did they take a 10-0 lead, or was that
no?
No.
They
off
got
my ass on
they
that?
got 10 later.
Okay.
But Japan fucked the kickoff.
Right.
Received real bad, and that's how they ended up with it.
Right, and Russia put the pressure on them and put it over. So that's going to happen. But I thought Japan responded well. At their best, they played very well, but they still have, this is a good warm-up match. I'm sure there were nerves. I'm sure there were a ton of nerves on their side that they had to work out.
There's some higher than usual expectations for this team than any Japan team I can think of in the past.
Right. And just to be at home, to have that additional pressure, you're going to have a little bit of nerves, and you're gonna shit the bed a little bit, and they did, but they recovered really well. I would say a lot of their players impressed the hell out of me. For guys that like Hori, I kind of knew he was going to be. I don't know enough about him, but he played
with some Wolves.
He was amazing. He was all over the field. And maybe that'll change as they play a little tougher competition. He'll slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he might still make 10, 12 tackles,
right.
but just not 18.
No, but I mean, he was taking a lot of carries too. Like he was doing the way we have been talking about Leach in the past. To me, Hori played that role in this match.
Yeah, Leach had a bit of a disappointer in terms of fantasy. It was really unfortunate, but he didn't get the carries that he normally gets, and wasn't as.
Those all went to Hori.
Yeah, he wasn't as ever present on the park.
Right.
Well, really, also think about they had Matsushita.
Right.
Scoring. Matsushima, scoring a hat trick.
Right.
Good call by our friend the fantasy rugby geek.
Oh, it wasn't George. It was.
Yeah, it was. He called it.
Oh, okay.
He called it for sure. But that was a heck of a call.
Yeah.
If you captained him, I tip my hat to you. Then you had an inkling better than I did.
I don't think anybody captained him.
I don't think you did either. But we'll get into more of the people in our group scores and stuff like that. For a fantasy perspective, Labuschagne, the flanker that was able to rip the ball away and run off for a try, probably ballooned him just a wee bit.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, there's a turnover and a run and a try there.
Yeah, a lot of points stacked up into one play. So I mean, it's great when you get it, obviously, and this is the thing you have to keep in mind that I always say: don't chase tries, especially in the forwards. Backs, it is what it is. But forwards, don't chase tries. If you know a guy's a known try scorer, it's one thing. But like, if a guy scores a try 1 week, but he hasn't scored for 3 years, maybe temper that expectation just a touch.
Like we were saying with Scotty Barrett. Like, I wouldn't expect that every match.
Turn that back down a little bit.
Take about 20% off of that.
Yeah, take it down 20%. Utamura, fantasy-wise, didn't have a terrible game, but just eye test. They pulled him early. I was like, ooh, he was missing kicks left and right. Like this game should have been more out of hand. But if his boot had been on, this game would have been way more out of hand. So maybe just take note of that. Keisuke Himeno had a great game in place of Mafi. Maybe unseated him for that spot. I would definitely consider putting him into your lineup. Hopefully you were smart, and we discovered this as after we had our fantasy preview pod. Hopefully you were smart and you left all 7 possible spots to add.
Right.
Because you can only make one subtract then add. But
yeah, it's helpful to have that space, especially the first week, because you're going to want to add players, and you're going to have to find some people here and there.
Yeah.
Personally, and going forward, I'm not sure how much. I mean, Matsushima is not a bad player by any stretch, so he's not somebody you shouldn't have on your squad. But you might do better to rotate your wing against your attacking wing of whoever's playing Russia.
Yeah.
Find out who they're
that's a lot. I mean,
who they like to rely on. Cause
clearly, in terms of overall points against. Russia definitely led the way in points surrendered to wings just by him alone.
Right.
But their other wing did okay too.
33,
Lemecki.
yeah. Lemecki.
Yeah, pretty good. So between those two, that's nearly 100. Yeah, pretty good haul. Not a great thing. Their hooker actually didn't do too bad. 28, pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
give them credit for that.
I feel like
They have some they have Andrei Ostrokov in the lineup,
Yeah.
which definitely helps. So that helps his points right there in almost an automatic fashion.
right, and I feel like hookers. So what did we see? We saw wings put up a lot of some high scores. Flankers, the loose forwards, put up a lot of locks put up some big
put up-
points, and
tell you.
hookers. So
Yeah.
if you didn't do well from your hooker position this first round, I almost think it's your fault because there were like hookers put up points everywhere.
Yeah, almost five guys had 30 points at hooker. So pretty good stuff. And one of those guys you can start a flank. So that's a good
And
one.
well, two of them really, because I mean, Horry, McAnally got 29.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
by the
there you
way,
go.
Horry for Japan, flanker eligible.
Yeah,
That's huge.
It was mind-boggling when you said that. I was like, "Say what?" Japan take care of Russia 30 to 10 in their opener. They get the job done. They get 4 bonus points, 4 try bonus points. Excuse me, and they put Russia to the sword as they were expected to. So nothing bad about it. The big one to lead off the Super Saturday, big time. Like talk about a Super Saturday.
It really was.
You know,
I can't remember a Saturday filled with that much great rugby in a long time.
a lot of just you hear the names and you're just like, I want to see them play. I want to see them play. I want to see them play. What do I do? Good thing they weren't all at the same time.
Right.
Australia Fiji let us off and came out like a house on fire, especially the Fijians. Oh my goodness.
Australia have a reason to be nervous.
Yeah, that was. I mean, if you want to see 15 minutes of just smashing and exciting rugby, watch the first 15 minutes of this match and tell me that you're not excited about watching rugby because holy shit, the Fijians put on a show.
Right. I mean, and it's exactly the kind of rugby I love, where on defense they're extremely physical, and then on offense they're finding gaps and they are exploiting the hell out of them. So they saved their physicality for defense, and boy did they put some hits on Australia.
Yeah, Australia's going to be taking ice baths till next week after that one.
They're going to be feeling it for a while.
Yep. Pasili Yato got them off to a hot start. He could basically play anywhere on the park. He plays flanker. Man, this guy was a beast for them. Oh my goodness.
I mean, just large man with some wheels can fly.
Yeah, terrifying in the loose. You see that coming at you, you're just like, go ahead, go ahead. I'm not bothered. I'm making a life decision right now, and it's to go that way. I'm good.
Yeah, I have to think about my career after this. I've got some kids at home.
Something to that effect.
Yeah,
you need a young guy to stop him probably.
But it ended up he stopped himself.
HIA,
and then he
did not pass it.
No, he came out about like 2 minutes after the 10 minutes had gone, and kind of was looking around like, where do I go? And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, go onto the field. And no.
Yeah. And they said, well, he's taking his strapping off. I was like, yep, he's done.
He's done.
Crap. But speaking of guys that getting in the way, Reece Hodge, that poor man, he got clattered by this
Stood on the
team.
tracks. And
Yeah,
a couple trains
coming
yeah.
through. Ooh. First, was it Radradra first, and then Tuiasova afterwards, and then he got nailed while he was carrying as well.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Like the first two, he was trying to play defense, and like he basically looked like he was playing offense.
He was in good position. It's just that they were in better position.
Yeah, those two, they just smashed through him. I was like, ooh. And, it's too bad because if you haven't watched Reece Hodge play, he's actually a very good player. That did not do him any justice.
No,
I
it didn't.
promise you.
It didn't. And that's one of those, even the best have their days. And
yeah, he did.
And yeah, and he wasn't put in the best position because he had to, he couldn't just set his feet. So he was getting run into as he was setting his feet, which is why that
they were already at full speed by the time they hit
they're
him.
at full speed, and he's has to make decisions in defense, and so it's not as though he's clear that Radradra was getting the ball or that's where he was going. So he's kind of sliding over after that pass to play defense, but
oops,
nope, they already had other ideas that they were
look out.
like, I'm not going to try to evade you. I'm just going to run you over and then
ow,
and then keep running very fast down the field.
Oh man. But and this is the unfortunate thing about this team. It's so full of talent and so full of top end players that you would just
1 through 15.
But it's only a 15.
But it's only 1 through 15.
It's not a 23. There's a couple guys on the bench that you could probably back. But other than that, there's other guys you're just like, it just sucks.
Well, it's clear, at least from a fantasy perspective.
Their experience is very unfortunate.
Yeah, from a fantasy perspective, Avoca had 24 off the bench, and I'm guessing he was the one who replaced. I don't remember.
Probably Yado.
Probably the one who replaced Yado. So everyone else, Matawalu had 9. No one else had more. No one else on the reserves from Fiji had more than 6.
Oof.
And that was the hooker, who again the hookers get a little bit more points for the lineouts.
Yeah.
But the props had -1 and 2, and then the backup 9 had 9, and then the wings had 1 and 2 points. So these are guys who, and Guneva should have done better, but I think that was kind of.
Well, you called that one. Speaking of props, though, Campisi Mafu, when he was during the anthem, so passionate, and this is another reason you love watching the World Cup. So much passion into these anthems, and just you see the tears shed because they don't necessarily hear the anthems all the time. They don't necessarily get to see a bunch of fellow countrymen all the time, especially guys that are playing for these tier 2 nations, and just so much passion into it. And Mafu's shedding a tear, and I don't make fun of him for it. I appreciate it.
That's the passion. These players are representing their country on a stage that it's unlike any other. Soccer has its moment. That's a pretty big moment too.
Right, but especially, just like even just in the rugby world, there's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing like it.
No,
there's nothing like it.
And especially for those, like you said, those island nations don't get many. Don't get many opportunities at test. Certainly not the amount of test matches that other countries get. So
by far,
it's very important for them, and it's good to see. I was disappointed that I want to note that, and again, we talked about it off the pod, but the winning and sealing tries for the tries that sealed the game really for Australia were scored by Fijians.
Yeah, it's a little painful.
But it's what happens.
If this was Russia playing these guys that had rocked up like this, you wouldn't be as noting it. But it's just because they're playing their fellow countrymen of where they were born. It sucks, but yeah.
As fans of American rugby, we can't really complain about that too much.
We don't have
because we wouldn't have any players without that.
Certainly back in the day where when we were fielding mostly expats.
Todd Clever and everyone else was a funny talker.
Yep, for sure.
It's a little bit different now, but it's still not quite all red, white, and blue here.
Michael Hooper had himself a day. Latu,
as he does.
And it's funny. Latu pops up as obviously the top scorer for Australia. He actually did a lot of damage in fantasy for the Brumbies too. So I wonder if this is something that people can start to think about. There is crossover here, obviously. I don't know if it'll cross over just as well against like Wales, but against the other countries, if he's playing, you probably are okay to back him.
Again, they have a good line out.
If I could throw to Rory Arnold, I'd have a good line out too.
Yeah,
good
pretty
God,
much.
That man is huge.
So that alone is going to get you significant points because that's easy 1 pointer every time they have a line out, and every time there's a penalty, you're like, all right, cool, money in the bank.
Yeah, right.
And that'll get you that adds up.
I thought Samu Karevi definitely stepped up for the Aussies at some point. He played the full 80, I believe, and he was really trying to just get into the trenches and make sure that he could stop the bleeding when Fiji were up 9 at one point,
right?
And then he eventually got himself over after the yellow card was clearly the turning point when Fiji had a man put in the bin. I was like, that's the end.
That was Australia realizing that we can whoop their ass in the scrum, and we can maul them to death. So let's do those two things. And that's what they did, and that earned penalty, yellow card.
And then a yellow card, eventual yellow card on their end. Yep.
The referee really had no choice at that point.
Right. Of the two guys that stepped into the fly out position, I thought Tamua played the better. I didn't think Leali'ifano had his best game.
No, well, he got the shit kicked out of him
also,
early.
he got a ribber. He got a rib cracker for sure. I was like, oop, that hurts.
Right. And he was not happy after that.
No, he was very unhappy.
And that was fairly early. And so that can take a guy like that out of his game because he's not a bulky gentleman.
Nope.
So a hit like that can rattle a guy.
Yeah, that can't blame him for that one by any means whatsoever.
And I thought Nick White played reasonably well. He wasn't a standout. He wasn't.
No, but
there were better more celebrated scrum halves, and we'll get to them soon.
On. Yep.
That played a lot worse than Nick White did.
Yeah. No, he was solid. He didn't flash he wasn't a flash, but he also didn't cost them anything by any means.
Kind of that's if that's what you got from a scrum half, you could do worse.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, as long as the rest of the team can pick it up. So yeah, Australia take care of Fiji, and Fiji are still not. They could still beat Wales if they rock up.
Yeah, the Fiji aren't out of it.
They're not
they
out
just
of it.
have to they have to put a full game together.
Yes. Yeah, they got to find a way to maybe start some of those middling bench players and bring in some of their better guys. And I understand the thought, start strong, but sometimes you could maybe get two guys in there that are that off the bench that
hide them a little bit.
Yeah, and just you tuck into like lock maybe.
And you don't fuck up.
Yeah,
that's all you. That's your job.
Just follow a couple of other guys around and just try and help them. Okay.
Right. Let them make the tackle. You be the tackle assist, and if they offload it, then you make the tackle. But other than that, just don't fuck up.
Right.
I did notice that the announcers said, and I don't think it's right in terms of the scrum half, but everyone else, they thought that Australia finished with a better 15 than they started.
Yeah,
that's in some ways.
Some ways, yes. Some way. I mean, we had a true fullback at fullback. We had. We said Matt Tamua probably played the better of the two.
Right.
I don't know about Salakai Loto. I like him, but I don't think he's the better of the choices at flank.
No, not really.
But you're right. Kenny probably is still number 2 to Nick White. So that's definitely. I think that's a for sure thing. But yeah, they finished with a strong 15. It was obvious.
They did, and I think that'll probably when they go into the Wales match, and then if they make the knockout rounds, then I think they'll probably end up with Hela Petty at fullback.
Yeah, that's probably not wrong. They'll figure that out.
Yeah.
France and the Augies.
What a match!
This was a great match. This was entertaining as hell. If you weren't entertained by this match, then just quit. This was great stuff, man. Oh my goodness. And obviously it came down to the wire, and Camille Lopez with the big old cojones to knock that thing through. Knocked it through a little early, and I thought for sure that might have been bad. But then Buffelli missed the penalty, and I was like, well, it worked out.
And that, that was a little early for the droppy. But you know what? You have it. Take the lead.
Sometimes that's how it works.
France was controlling the match, I felt like, in every way but the scoreboard at that point. What I didn't understand was the decision to kick a penalty after that, because
with Intimac,
right? Extend the lead a little bit, make it. But at some point, what I would have liked for France to do would be to kick for the corner, because you even whatever you do, you kick for you kick for points. You get a 22 and you miss it, and who knows what could happen. Like, they can kick it deep, and I think that's what happened. They kicked it deep. France was running it out, got a penalty, and then that's what gave Argentina the opportunity. If you kick it deep and you put it in the corner with like 2 minutes left, but it's your ball in the corner, you can hold that maul for a good 30, 40 seconds if you wanted to. Now you're really just running time off the clock. And you're not only that, but you're in their end. And if they want to get, from their end to a point where they can kick a penalty, they're going to have to. They need to get 3 penalties to win.
Right.
One deep in their own end. You kick it out. Maybe you get towards midfield. Maybe another penalty there. You're still not in place to
nudge
kick.
It closer. Yeah.
So you still need another phase of play.
Right.
And to me, take the time and the distance, and you're not in that position that France were in late in the match where they're kind of holding their bums for that kick.
Yeah, they were holding on to the bums for sure. Both teams, I thought, played incredibly well. Guido Petty stood out for sure. And his 50th cap stands up and just says, "Me, I got you guys," and credit the hell out of him. That was a great game. Unfortunately, here was where the bugaboo, and this is a really bad place to have you go awry. I thought Kubeli and Sanchez both had not great games.
I agree.
So, if that's where your game's going awry, that's a very bad place for it to happen.
Yeah, your 9 and 10 comment. You need them working together, like DuPont and Intimac did. I thought they were
both brilliant.
Right.
I thought that, Intimac missed an early penalty and a late penalty, but other than that, like between the last 5 and the first 5, I thought Intimac was brilliant.
He was,
and I don't see a reason to drop him from. Certainly not from a squad that you plan on using against a top team.
That last penalty kick was a hard ask too.
Yeah,
that was not something that you want. I mean, he's not. He might have that leg on him, but he still has a lot of development to do physically, not just and mentally.
Yep.
Maybe in 5 or 6 years, I'll take that kick and not think about it. But with someone that young and that distance and that angle, I probably would have gone. That's another reason I would have gone to corner. But so I don't blame him for missing that. That was one of these
tough.
Give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
See what you got, kid.
But that drop kick, and you could see the Argentinian player looking at it, and it's looking up, and
no,
it just cleared. So
yeah, it did, just by a wee bit. But it was a great match. Looking at the numbers here. So we think because we know he's been a liability in the past? Do we think Gael Fiku played to his potential at center, or do we think he got lucky? I know he got player of the match. Let's toss that out.
I would say he played to his potential more than anything because he just looked at like the confidence and the quick decision making and he saw a gap and he would attack it. Like he wasn't he was finding space. It wasn't as though he was put into holes and it just he did well completely on his own.
Yeah.
I think that that was just a combination of the good connection between the 9 and the 10 means that one of your centers should be having a good day.
Yeah.
And in this case, maybe they spotted something in Argentina's defense that they said, we think we're going to have a day out of our 12 rather than our 13. Or they just put him in spots that worked out well. I think that was. I don't see any reason that he couldn't continue to do that.
Well, contrast that with getting started on the wing against England in the Six Nations and being very out of place.
Right.
And he looked it, and that wasn't his fault. That was the freaking coaching staff. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that one. So I was like, maybe you don't start a guy that's played center most of his life on the wing against a team that's looking to get the ball to the wing and or kick.
Right.
So just a thought. But he looked good. Pinot looked worth his value by far. There was. I mean, if you see a guy that looks like he has a big score on this, it was probably right. There's not a lot of flukes on this one.
And I swear I had a note about UJ, but I can't remember. I don't think he did much of anything.
He was. I think
he was there.
He was mostly invisible.
Yeah.
For Argentina, obviously, Guido Petty was awesome.
Right.
Paulo Matero was his usual self.
Yes, he was.
And really that was the end. Montoya did a little bit better than Creevy did, but that was the end. There wasn't a lot. The fact that Nicolas Sanchez got replaced fairly early by Erdipaleta was pretty telling.
Right.
For me, I was like, "Yeesh, this is like a guy that you should be able to ride." And you're pulling him early in a big match where it could decide whether or not you get knocked out in the pool stage or not. So that said a lot to me. In the end, Nicolas Sanchez probably needs to pick it up just a bit.
Yeah.
And we have the big one. All Blacks and Springboks. That was...
you had your appetizer, then your main course.
Let's get to the main course. Big time.
This was... okay, so here's where I'm going to be a bit of a poopy pants here. Because this is...
I shall be a poopy pants.
I shall be a poopy pants on this one. With my favorite foil, Faf de Klerk.
He's a foil, all right.
Can you hit a fucking 10?
Yeah, his service was not great.
It was terrible.
His service was not great.
And I was actually talking about this with the aforementioned South African brothers
Right.
on our club about I think Faf is the third best scrum half on that team, and I think he's incredibly overrated. And this game, I think, shows why, because there were a ton of. I mean, he gave New Zealand a ton of opportunity just because he was throwing it behind his 10.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Just a thought.
No, bad Faf.
That was just a thought.
So that's me. That's my one poopy pants for this this match.
You're allowed.
And just to translate it to later, Eddie, are you watching? Do you
Eddie-
see what
Eddie,
happens?
are you okay?
Do you see what happens? Do you see what happens when you start a shit scrum half against the All Blacks, or a scrum half that can't hit his connections? And we'll get to England later. But if Eddie was watching this game, when you're playing New Zealand, start Willie.
Start somebody that can hit his target, please.
Because Faf was just he was a liability in that match, and that's unfortunate because everybody else played very, very well.
Well,
I thought not everyone, but
maybe there was and maybe this was a cause from the bad service, but I was not even. Lukanyuan was very invisible to me, and I don't know why you benched Jesse Creel. That really baffled me, honestly.
Yeah, that's a question mark. I think it's when you have your 10 doesn't get good ball, your outside centers isn't going to get much of a chance.
So, no, that might be a part of
because you're scrambling at that point for possession, let alone attacking.
Yep. It's sad. It's sad that they won because Hansen's going to continue to think that the Barrett 15, Mwanga 10 thing's going to work. I just don't think it's going to. I think when the chips are all down on the table, I think he's going to have a problem. And to put Ben Smith on the bench, is really baffling to me.
Mwanga missed though.
Yeah, he missed a couple.
He missed a couple, and that's not like him.
Nope.
So, yeah, maybe
that's an alarm.
If he's right, if Mwanga's gonna play like that in this competition, it's definitely better to have him on the bench and start Bowden at 10.
Right. Yeah. It is another level, and Barrett's done this. Barrett's played in the final. You know, it's you can't discount that. I was extremely happy and even a little bit giddy that Anton Leonard-Brown played as well as he did. And this is somebody I've been ringing the bell for a while now, and I wanted him to get back into the All Blacks team. You know, he played very well for the Chiefs this year, and when I saw him on the initial list, I was like, I was just very happy because I think he's an excellent player. He does a couple things. He can both make you miss, but he's got the speed to burn you. Not quite Sebouris speed, but you know, he'll make you look silly.
But I enjoyed the strategy on this one, which was the all old man 12 with Leonard Brown at 13. So you had Crotty, and then he came off for Sonny Bill. So it's like, all right, look, we're gonna
wheel you out there for 60 minutes. Just last that long, and we'll get you a sub at 20. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that was a a fun combination because I think that frees up Leonard Brown. He can, he kind of has. Then they have two different games, Crotty and Sonny Bill, but they have about similar speed. They're not going to be burners. They're going to be guys who you're going to run right off of them, and they'll help you out. They'll put you in the right spot.
Yep. Final note before we get into fantasy stuff. And you were happy about this because he had a bad game anyway, but Mac Mapimpi is very lucky to not get a yellow card.
I thought that was an excellent decision at that moment in time.
At that time.
Which actually, now that I recall,
I don't love the decision. Penalty only. I was like, he definitely did everything he could to slow that fucking ball down.
He did.
Yellow card, but Jerome Garces, French referee, can't see him surprised.
We'll let this one go. Don't do it again.
Yeah, sure. I'll stop. I won't stop another try. Good God.
One thing I wanted to bring up, because it did involve this game a little bit, because it happened to Kolbe, and Kolbe did it once. There was and it wasn't just in this match. There was in many of the other matches where there's the little bit of a cynicism around the player in the air going for the ball and challenging them. There was a lot of, I'm going for the ball, I'm ducking, and kind of undercutting the guy who's in the air, and
That's
and
dangerous.
a lot of it's very dangerous. But they're making it look like they're going for the ball. Like to me, that hopefully the referees saw it over the course, because it's hard to see when it's just your
I
game.
hope they get a note in the mail, or in their email, be like, guys,
Right.
can we please watch out for this shit?
It happened like once in like 3 or 4 matches, once or twice, and it's like, yeah, it's on the line, but let's cut that out. Let's err on the side of
please.
player safety rather than, he's going for the ball. What else? No, he's not going for the ball. He's making sure he can tackle the guy, before he can.
Yeah, let's not do that, please. Good God, that just sounds so dangerous. I thought he had an amazing game too.
Colby?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
he
did.
He looks brilliant. I'm so
I mean,
glad that they picked him for
he
for
fucking
this.
fearless
Yep. He's
for his size. He was outmatched out
second
there.
smallest guy besides Faf.
He's challenging George Bridge in the air.
Yeah.
like
Yep.
that was actually the one reason why I didn't want to start him this week was. And I didn't say that because I didn't want to tip anybody off. And I was wrong anyway, so what the fuck do I know? But, Colby having to defend George Bridge. I'm looking at the two of them, and I'm like,
Short, tall,
I see a thing that could be a problem here.
height, vertically challenged,
I
whatever
am-
you want to call it.
I know, call me a height supremacist, but no, this is I'm not going to question Colby again. He was amazing. And I was even talking to my wife about him before the match. I'm like, he will find space. Like, there's nothing there, and he'll just wriggle through, and suddenly he's
so damn small,
off
he
like a
just,
shot.
Yeah, and he got great acceleration. So very good player. Fantasy wise, we talked about Scott Barrett maybe having a bit of a balloon after that offload that he carried home. Good job on him for being there.
Yeah.
Can't take that away from him. Got to be there to make that happen. But other than that, I mean, that would have, apart from that, that would have been, maybe a 20-point game, which is still pretty good, but at the same time, like, nothing to write home about.
Right. But he had a 25-meter run for a try, so
They'll do it, and especially because locks obviously gather points much faster than wings do.
Yep.
In terms of meters run, so that'll
that's
do
10
that.
points for a try to 34, and 25-meter run.
Right.
I think what is it, a point for every 5 meters? So that's like
As a lock, yeah.
yeah. So that's like a 25-point.
Yeah.
Right, that right? Something like that.
Something in that neighborhood.
15-point play right there.
There you
So
go.
that takes him down to 24.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, 29. That's
That's
still a
still
good
decent. That's
still
still
a good
decent
game.
day.
So it's not somebody you don't want to have on your team. I'm
Right.
not trying to say don't add Barrett. He's a guy to have on your roster as
Right.
long as he's playing. As long as he's playing, because
and we'll see what the rotation is with the remaining games because we talked about how the competition in this pool isn't exactly stellar. So, and Anton Leonard-Brown, the thing that he got a lot of his points were from the things you expect from him: defenders beaten and meters gained.
Right.
Like those are the things that he does. So, if that's what he's going to do against a pretty good Springboks team, then you can probably back him pretty well. On the other side, obviously Colby, back him. He's going to make some guys look silly. He's going to make guys miss.
and now and Pimpy is going to do all right. This was especially against
game.
the competition. This was I feel like this is a one-off. Maybe against the top tier, maybe consider this as a warning. I know I will because I had started him instead of Colby. But I wouldn't sleep on. I wouldn't put away my Pimpy just yet. But this
don't
was
put him in the locker
this was
yet.
disappointing as hell.
Yep. And one final note, Inyakanya did leave the field injured. He's probably done for the majority of this competition, if not the whole thing. Yeah, it was pretty bad looking. All Blacks take care of the Springboks and take control of their pool and probably are in the driver's seat to win the pool. Italy and Namibia. I actually was very interested in how Italy was going to do in this match, and they did not start well.
No.
Namibia came out, roaring with a try on first 5 minutes or so, something like that. I was screaming, "Go on, Namibia, let's go!" 5 minutes in, Damian Stevens got over the line. But Italy did eventually show their class.
Right.
The guys that they needed to play big played big. Oh, can we talk about Freddie Ruza? He is naughty. That offload. Oh yes, that was beautiful.
I only honestly in this match I only saw the first try.
Just
I kind of
was cutting in, no look off his shoulder. and the wing. He knew the wing was going to be there, and he took off like a bat out of hell. I was like, and this is the second row we're talking about here.
Yeah,
So. Very, very good stuff from Freddie Ruza. Only 27 points, but yeah, still good stuff. Good looking stuff for him. Tomasa Allen played very well. Actually, both fly halves played fairly well here. You know, the competition was very obvious, and the Namibia started to just kind of not give up, but they just started to get outclassed. That's just what's going to happen when you're lopsided.
You expect
like
that. I mean, if nothing else, Namibia is not going to present anything to Italy that Italy haven't seen already.
By no means.
So it's really the question of can they continue to apply that pressure after that opening try, and only for so long.
Yep. Tibaldi, Allen both score well. Both score very well. Jake Pelledri comes off the bench, gets himself over the line,
right.
and I think hopefully that's the hand up. Like, hey, I need to start, please.
Which he
please.
does. He does.
He definitely needs to be on the starting field. Yeah, so that's somebody to keep in your team. Tibaldi and Allen are both very good options. So apart from the games you don't expect them to do great, I'd say one of the others is going to do well even against like the All Blacks which pool are they in? Yeah, the All Blacks. They're in that pool. Duh, I knew that. I swear to God. So yeah. Anyway, Italy take care of Namibia 47-22. Namibia put up a good fight. Give them credit, all the credit in the world. They have some guys that play professionally over in Europe, but some down that are like in academy systems in South Africa. But you know, the majority of them came from their domestic league, which is, well, unfortunately lesser than MLR. So I don't know what that says.
Can we say one quick thing, or can I
Fire.
say one quick thing?
Fire.
Italy is at the top of the pool,
Point differential will do that.
and bonus point.
Oh, that's right, because
New Zealand did not get the bonus point.
No, they did not. That was a tough ask against South Africa.
Oh, well, of course. I just wanted to note that after the first round of pool play, Italy is at the top of the pool, because I don't think we're going to be saying that the second round.
Probably not. And then,
although maybe they play Canada, they could get another bonus point win. They could be at 10.
They actually might. Yeah. That'll be interesting. To the All Six Nations clash, that was a very wet one, unfortunately, which made things not great to the eye. But
no.
You know, it's just it's really unfortunate when that happens, because I know Scotland wanted to do some fun things, but when that ball is a bar of soap, it's extremely tough.
I mean, they should have at least tried.
I think they tried.
They
just
wanted
kept going,
to.
Whoop, everything just kept sliding through their hands. It's really shit. You know?
I mean, you already know I hate watched this game for a little while. I watched it. I was interested, and then about 20 minutes in, I was like, this isn't that interesting. And then I watched till halftime, like, all right. And then pretty much everything I watched after halftime was just hate watching. I'm like, I hate this fucking match. I mean, so all I'll say is, I've said it before, I don't like Ireland style. Out of this match, you have Bondiaki, you have Peter O'Mahony, and you have Hamish Watson going out early, very early, all three of them. And you have Johnny Sexton. Every time one of them was down, he's down too.
Yeah, he was nursing a groin injury.
So you're the number one team in the world somehow, and you put on a...
Yeah, we talked about that. That doesn't mean shit.
Right, it doesn't mean shit, but like the display of rugby was just too overly physical. You know, we lost Hamish Watson for the tournament. Hopefully, just the tournament. But I'm hoping, I'm fearing that it's a lot worse than that.
Yeah, he was in a brace on the side.
Right.
I wouldn't chalk that up to the playing style. He got caught in a really awkward way in the ruck.
Right, but that's a function of everybody just throwing bodies at rucks and being more using the ruck as an offensive weapon rather than a way to retain possession.
I'm sorry. When did Ben Ryan land in America and come into this podcast? Good God, man! No, it wasn't. It's in a ruck. Injuries happen in a ruck.
They do.
It sucks because I've gotten.
But he also I didn't like the way that he rucked there. He kind of came past. Watson and then drove him, kind of pulled him down sideways. He was almost...
He missed.
Yeah.
I think he knew he missed.
Then he made up for missing by fucking taking out his knee. That to me, that's just a...
Well, it wasn't... Don't talk about it like it was dirty.
It wasn't
dirty.
It wasn't dirty, but it wasn't clean.
It wasn't dirty. Just be real. It wasn't dirty. We're talking about Keane Healy and Ty Furlong. Neither one of those players are dirty players.
True.
So let's
I just don't like
dial it down 20%. Right?
I just don't like when you guys roll people over their own legs like that, or roll them over themselves.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's not. Yeah, I at that point just let him go and let him play on a little bit longer. But it is what it is. Ireland, did what they do, which is just they kicked for possession for field position and then bullied over the line a couple times.
They did.
Ian Henderson was good in the loose.
He's a hell of a loose forward that's playing lock, quite. James Ryan was very good this game as he usually is. James Ryan doesn't know what it's like to lose very often.
No,
to be fair.
And Bestie played fucking out of his mind.
Yep.
Although that also was not a try.
Well,
I don't see where the try was there.
I didn't either. I was like,
I'm like, the Scotland's arms under the ball. And Bestie has the ball is actually over the top of Bestie's left hand. And maybe he had his right hand on it, but I didn't see any downward pressure on that try.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
But it was hard. But once the ruling's been called, right. I have downward pressure, or I have it
touched down. I have no doubt that it touched the ground. I just don't see any downward pressure on it from Ireland. But again, I couldn't quite tell where Bestie's right hand was. It may have been pushing it down too.
Right.
So
hard to dispute it. So once the decision's made and the question's asked as it was,
and
that's how it goes.
It is how it goes.
Yeah. So a lot of good scores. Chris Farrell came in and did very well for himself off the bench for Bundyaki.
Mm-hmm.
Conway got himself off the line, which helps. CJ Stander was he the man of the match? Yeah, I think he was player of the match.
I didn't watch that long.
He was
to find out.
He had like 15, 16 carries.
Yeah,
so he was the usual horse that he is.
He was.
Furlong ends up being the prop scoring, not Healy. Damn it!
Yay!
I had Healy.
I had Furlong.
Yeah. Oops. Oh well. But there's some good things to take away fantasy wise from this.
Oh, a lot of good scores from Ireland. Yeah, because they just made tackles all day.
Yep, and that's what they do.
And then their locks had amazing runs, and
Henderson had a great run,
right,
for sure.
And did Henderson had the run and Ryan had the try or something like that?
Who had the try at the end? I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know the end, but you know.
Yeah.
No.
Ryan had the try.
Okay. Well, either way, Ireland moved to the top of their group for now, sort of. Either way, they've taken control of what people believe will be a lot of people will believe will be the two teams that get out of this group, 27-3, and they will be awaiting Japan. Should be a good game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yep, just getting there. England Tonga. Did you watch this?
Yes.
Okay. Big notes.
Young's is garbage.
Yeah, we've
shit
discussed
service.
as much.
They and it showed the handling errors. The commentators kept coming back to all these handling errors, and
there were a ton.
It was mostly that either the first or second pass, and away from the breakdown. And I was, when it was the second pass, it was because the first guy was getting shit service and trying to make up for the lack of or for the timing that got disrupted by the bad pass from Young's. To me, it was no coincidence that, and it didn't show up fantasy wise, but when Willie Hines came on, the handling errors went way down. So to me, that's a clear indication of who's getting good service and how that's affecting the team play at large.
Yeah, but to spin this as a fantasy as best we can real quick here.
Sure.
Young's 18 points isn't
not terrible.
Isn't laying up the world, though, by any means. You
No.
hope your scrum half's going to get you 25 plus.
Right.
Hines came in and get 5, whatever. Hooker, as we talked about it, big surprise. England's hooker does well, and their backup hooker does well. Cowan Dickey gets over the line.
Get over the line. That was a great try, too.
Yeah. Johnny on the spot. Good job, Luke. Anthony Watson did fairly well. Tuolangi, is this his one-off, or is he going to be able to ride it out?
I've been talking about him. Okay.
You've been on him,
so first off, for the people who haven't been paying attention, I am not a big Leicester fan, and So if
you're new to the pod, Ben hate watches Leicester matches.
Right. So it's Leicester and Ireland are my hate watching teams at this point of my rugby watching and for the styles that they play. Maybe one of the reasons why I'm not such a big fan of Youngs and Ford. Also the fact that they're not very good. But but Tuilagi has been just a battering ram. That's all he's been. And to me the biggest the most fun play that I saw, I think it was Johnny May finally gets off like a fucking rocket. And I'm pretty sure it was May. It was either May or it might have been Daly. And who's running there right next to him?
Tui.
But Tui.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh, this guy can actually move now. And maybe it's, it took him a little bit to come back from his injury, but I feel like he's also slimmed down and gotten himself in a position where, I mean, the 2 tries that he scored, Tuilagi, were the essence of what he can do. And the one is, I'm just going to bowl you over from 5 meters out and take 3 or 4 guys and carry him over the line, like a Billy Vunipola, who also is looking slimmer.
Yep.
But then the other try that he got, where he was again shot like a cannon, right through the line. It might have been an offload too, and the pace that he showed, he was running away from everyone. That's the Tuilagi that they need.
Yep.
So I don't think it's a one-off. I think this summer he's looked, starting from this summer, he's looked much better, much more fit, much more mobile. I fucking love him now. This is what he's going to be given.
Right.
No, I think this isn't. I don't think this is a one-off. I think this is what you're going to get from Tui the rest of the way out.
Okay. Well, and that nixes my plans. So yeah, England take care of business. 35-3. Hold Tonga scoreless. One note for Tonga: Tani Takalua did not do himself any good service in this match.
No, still had more points than Young's though.
Yeah, they rocked up in defense, but their offense was pretty much
non-existent. I mean, they only scored 3 points, so
right, there you go. That's evidence, and that's a credit to England's defense.
It really is.
Wales Georgia happened this morning for us. Wales take care of business. The Georgians rocked up in the second half for sure. They played very well in the second half. I think they were winning the second half up until the last minute or so. So good on them. George North, I think George North's try gave Wales technically the lead in the half, or tied. Either way, they did themselves a service, but they came out of the blocks very slow.
Yeah, they did.
Surprise, surprise. It's unfortunate.
It is for them, because if they had come out hard, that they might, that was the only chance to really have a shot at the game.
Right. The hell was his name? Shilashava does himself well. The bench players played probably a little bit better than the starters again. Going back to that theme.
Hell, their backup props had 20 points each.
Yeah, and one of them came off injured. Oh. So that speaks to that. Tomas Williams played most of the second half, so that's why you see his score ballooned. North had a long try. Davies had a nice line that got himself over, which looked him. He's kind of good at that. So if you're looking for a center and you want a Welshman, that's probably your guy right there. I mean, if you need a center and you just are unsure of and you have a Welshman spare, go with him.
And Sanjay got himself over too.
Yes, he did. He played very well. Trying to think, and then Tiprick, his score was ballooned. Did he intercept? He either intercepted one or he got a free one. He had a long run that ballooned his score just a bit. I know loose forwards don't get nearly as far knocked down as
he had 4 defenders beaten.
Yeah, and I think
so that's pretty.
Might have been technically on that play. I'm not sure.
I mean, you look through his stats; like he had 8 tackles, 100% tackle rate, which helps.
That's a bonus point there too.
8 passes from a flanker is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so, he's doing the old out the back type of stuff for them. So Wales take care of business very easily. 43-14. They'll be in the cold tub later, but because the Georgians did smack them pretty good,
and that's what they do,
and that's what they're good at. They know how to do it. A lot of these guys play in France, which is just full physicality for the most part. So real quick, let me get through this before we get too out of hand here. Top scoring players by position. So I have all 5. I have 5 listed. I'll put them up later, but I'll just go through each one individually. And I listed the players as one position. I'm just going to keep them there for the whole entirety of the tournament. If TRM pigeonholed them into one position, that's where I put them. If I know they play another position, that's where I put them. And if they started in a position that was and it's kind of a crapshoot, that's where I put them. Those are my reasonings. You don't like it, find somebody else to ask. Okay, center Manu 41, Manu Tuolangi. Fullback Liam Williams with only 21. There weren't a lot of true fullbacks that actually played this weekend.
No.
So Liam Williams leads the way with 21 at fullback. Tommaso Allen 38 at fly half. Justin Tipperick with 46. We just talked about him as a flanker.
Mm-hmm.
Total Latu 44 for the hookers. Kusuke Himeno, the 8-man, leads the 8-man with 42. How about that, right? Mm-hmm. Props weren't particularly high scoring, which they sometimes aren't.
Right.
Tyke Furlong leads the way with 24.
Yay.
Tito Tavaldi from Italy again, 46. So obviously halfback combination had a good day. Guido Petty, who had an outstanding performance for Argentina. It reflected very well for him. Yeah. 65 for Argentina as a second row. And then Matsushima obviously leads the way for the Wings, 64 with his hat trick. So that's good stuff. So if you have room on your teams for some of those guys, maybe have a look.
And one last thing about one of the guys you mentioned, Tomato Tommaso. Mm-hmm. He plays every position pretty much. Let me look back at him. So he can put him at fly half, center, fullback. Mm-hmm. So if you're kind of like me and I'm like, I don't really like my fullback options, you have a fly half there who can play, who you can slot in at fullback, and that's valuable.
Yeah, at 38, even if you take away some of his kicking points, he'll be in the high 20s.
Right.
So that's the other thing. That's good. Always look for guys that are versatile.
Well, on my bench, he got me. So he had 18 when they have that for your bench. So he got like 36. I don't know how much his kicking really was a factor there.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Okay, very good stuff. Okay. To the second game week. The second game week's kind of funny with TRM. We're going to have kind of a changeover in the middle of the week from game week 2 to game week 3 in the middle of the night for us. Yeah. So be on your A game. Kind of look out for, and we're going to talk about actually a couple of those games in game week 3 because next time we are able to do this, game week 3 will have already started. So just kind of a heads up, and we'll give you the best advice we possibly can, and we'll preview it to the best of our ability. But it's a week away, so What are you going to do? So since you went first last time, you're going first, or since I went first last time, you're going first this time. Russia and Samoa, and we talked about there's not a lot that you want from there, but we did mention a couple guys from Russia earlier, so maybe reconsider them for this match as well.
Yeah, I would say that I would look to Japan and how that game went for this match as far as position players. So you look at the players who did well for Japan. That was hookers. I think their flanker did all right. Oh yeah, they're right.
Babashagné, that guy.
They had.
Is that the one you're talking about?
They had one of their flankers, and then their 8-man Himeno got over 40. Right. So you're looking at good points there, and then a winger. So I would be looking at Samoa's lineup and looking at those positions because what worked well against Russia for Japan probably going to work well against Russia for Samoa
in different ways.
Right. Likewise, I would look at Russia and say, okay, which of their players did fairly well? I mean, their fullback got 26 points. That's
Artemiev, he's listed as a wing.
Right. So that's a possibility. Yeah, he's listed. Oh, well, he played 15, and then their 11 still did all right, and their hooker did okay. So I'm not sure. If that's going to carry over exactly, I would think that their lineup would still be fine against Samoa. I wouldn't think Samoa is going to be challenging too much. They want to play in the loose, not fuck around in the set pieces. Yep. So that's where I would go. I would really look to that Japan game and maybe not expect the same kind of points. I wouldn't expect 64 out of a wing.
Yeah, probably not.
But at the same time, I'd expect a fairly decent score out of those same positions.
Yeah, fair point. So we got Fiji, Uruguay. Fiji and Uruguay have actually both released their lineups as well, so that's helpful.
Okay.
For all of us. Nakarawa's playing at 8.
Yes, he is.
Go, Gadget, Nakarawa, go.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Rotini Wawa from the Saints is playing lock. I would go ahead and roll him out there. Ganeva and Radradra are both in the lineup. Radradra has been moved into center So, which means he's outside center, even better. So he's going to get the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, he is.
Go ahead and rock that. Voca played very well when he came in, so I would go ahead and let that guy go as well. He's in the lineup, so go ahead. Josh Matavesi is starting out of position. Don't play him. Don't play him. He's a center by trade. There's a reason he's center by trade. Volovola is not amazing. Matavesi's not as good as him. So take that for what that's worth. For Uruguay, there are a couple of guys that you can probably give a consideration to. These are guys that are based on, and I found some stats based on either the last World Cup, line breaks, tackles, points, all that stuff. There's Ormacheo, who's their scrum half usually. He sit him only this game because on the back end of this week, he actually he's probably going to start. So, and he's actually very good. He does a lot of things. Kicks, runs, he can tackle pretty well. He's quite the hero for them. And a lot of these guys actually play over here in the U.S. They play for in the MLR, so that's kind of cool. Gimenara, Villaseca, and Berchezzi. Those are three guys that you could consider if you need a Uruguayan, if you need a tier 2 guy, and you're kind of stuck on other teams. Maybe looking for a semi-favorable matchup, although I don't know how favorable Fiji is. It's a depowered lineup. That's what I can say about that. So there you go.
And for Italy and Canada, if you're looking for Canadians, God love you. I probably
Tyler Ardron.
Yeah,
Tyler Ardron.
That's about it.
Sears Duru's pretty the prop.
Yeah,
He might be a little bit Mako-ish.
he could be.
We'll see.
Right.
Depends on if he starts, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. I would assume he would, but you look at Namibia's props did not do well against Italy.
No props did well in that game, to be fair.
And that's fair. But
To be fair.
So I'm not sure I would advise that. But and like you said, Rosa had his offload and whatnot. I would very much look at Pellegrini because I assume he'll be starting in this match. I would bet
he's playing in this match. And if he's starting, roll with that.
Yeah, don't.
For sure.
And don't
he does well in the Premiership. There's no reason he won't do well. He did well off the bench here.
Yeah. So
there you go.
So he could get you points even so. If he's not starting, if he's on the bench, he might be worth stowing away on your bench to get some points out of that.
Yeah, just in case something goes awry.
And I'm not sure what we don't know the starting lineup at this point, so we're kind of just guessing. But, the Tibaldi and Allen did amazingly. So, again, Tommaso Allen, guy to think about playing out of position if you already have a fly half that you like to. Or he could do well as a starter. I mean, 38 points is nothing to shake a stick at.
Nope.
So, certainly not someone you can just he was the top scoring fly half.
Yeah.
He was in the dream team
for
week one.
Yeah.
So he's somebody to continue to consider as long as he's starting.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Our boys, and hopefully they don't get too fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and neither Ben nor I have a start of the week yet, so be patient with that. We'll get it out tomorrow. Just chill your boots. There's no start of the week or sit of the week. We'll get it out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Anyway, for England, basically all the names I named last week, just go ahead, because this is definitely going to be the lineup that they kind of dial it back, and they're still going to fuck us pretty good.
Yeah.
So when I say us, I mean the Eagles, because the U.S. Eagles are just not that good.
No.
Yeah, so like the likes of McConaughey, Kakanasinga, Pierce Francis, the likes. I would sit the centers, because those guys are going to have to run through Polisika.
Yeah.
And I would not be signing up for that if I were them.
Not so much, no.
And Bryce Campbell's on the bench. So if Lasika gets tired, he's going to come in and just do the same thing.
Right.
So I would maybe sit the starting centers, whether it's Pierce Francis or Slade or whoever it is. Luke Cowan-Dickey, go ahead. He obviously did very well. Lewis Ludlam, he's usually going to do well.
Mark Wilson's a name you might want to look out for.
Yep,
but at the same time, these are guys who you might not even want to have on your team. Because, again, you might add
This might be the only game that they play. That's
right.
the problem.
They might play 1 or 2 matches. So these aren't guys you're going to have long-term. So, I'd probably
keep that in the thought.
Keep that in mind. I mean, I'm guessing Launchbury's going to be playing in this game. I would not advise playing him.
Nope. And then, a guy, I'm really going to regret saying this, but play forward. Play forward.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
In this match.
I feel dirty saying that.
Because he'll be playing. So, yeah.
So names that you might know for the U.S. Joe T. Sit him. That's a pain in the ass of a lineup to friggin' to have to deal with.
But Morrow won't be playing. Laws won't be playing.
Laws is going to probably play.
You think Laws will be
I
playing?
think he's going to play.
All right.
And if not Cruz.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
Cruz
really
isn't
about
the
that
same.
either.
I think Cruz isn't the same disruptor. I mean, he can disrupt the line out. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just not the same as Maro Itoje out
No,
there.
it's not. But still, I would be very fearful of that.
Yeah.
For sure. Names I would consider starting. The back row for the two of the back rows for the U.S. Tony Lamborn and Cam Dolan, guys that have played not in the U.S. So go ahead and roll them. Our boy AJ, if he's your fly half and you need a fly half and you're looking for an American, AJ, you could do worse than AJ. Will Hooley, another name. He's gonna play fullback. He can kick well. He can run well.
He'll get opportunities. England loves to kick.
He's on the Saints payroll. Gets loaned out quite often, but maybe he puts his hand up and says, "Hey, fuck you, Northampton. Why don't you keep me on the team this year?" So maybe he does that, or he gets a move to another club. So I think he's gonna play his brains out this year. So yeah, that's another name to consider.
So then I get Argentina Tonga, and this one's a tough one. I mean, first off, I don't expect him to put up 65 again, but
Guido
Petty. He's somebody who, at this point, he's a very strong consideration just because of the work he did, not around the try scoring, but
absolutely.
the line out, all that. He's going to continue to throw up points. You got to figure that Kubeli and Sanchez are going to have to. They're going to use this game to work to get better and work with each other.
Right.
But still, there's other options. And then Matera. I mean, at this point, if you got your guys for this kind of match, for Argentina,
Matera's bloody good anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't. I'm not, gonna set the world on fire here with somebody
hot take.
Somebody new that you don't know about. No, these are the guys that the guys who are gonna do well are the ones you already know about. For Tonga, Takalua, I think will put up a little bit more.
I would expect him to do far better this match than he did that match. That was, I mean, England's defense is really, really strong.
They are.
So to be fair to him, that's really that was just a bad matchup for him. His kicking boot wasn't on fire though by any means.
And then you got the centers. Vuna and Piatau didn't do so
Sally
hot
should do well
against right. I would say Piatau. I would look hard in his direction in this match, even though he didn't do so hot last time. And then Kalamafoni might actually have he might be someone you kind of just keep an eye on.
Right.
He was a little bit out of position at 6 against England. I know he plays 8 for was it Leicester?
Leicester
in the Premiership, and I think he does a really good job there. And Vaipulu didn't do so hot, so I'm not sure
maybe they switched that up.
Maybe they switched that up.
Yep.
But he's somebody I'm not high on him, but he's somebody to consider if you're really hard up for 8 men.
For sure. Japan and Ireland. So I have a lot of sits, unfortunately, because despite the fact that, say what you will about the Irish playing style, their defense doesn't let a lot through. So Japan do love the expansive open game, which is not going to play well into this hand.
It might though, because if they get a little deeper and they get away from Ireland's initial launch. I mean, if you look at the way England beat up on Ireland on the scoreboard, it was because they did some trickeration with the ball and didn't just take a 1-up or a 2-up hit. They made 2 or 3 passes and changed the defensive organization, and that could be good. That could work.
Could be. Yeah, but this is also like that get right game for Japan, and this is a bad team to try and get right against as well. That's
also true.
That's the unfortunate part. So I'm going to go ahead and say Tamara Leach, Maki, Labuschagne is probably a one-off. Your boy Horry's probably not the best guy to go with this match, especially since the Irish lineup's usually a little tough to
get around.
Complete around. Himmerno, I won't say no because he's probably going to see the ball a lot as the 8-man. The props for Scotland actually scored very well against Ireland. So maybe if you have it, if you just for whatever reason you were a fan of one of the Japanese props for I don't know what reason you had, but hey, you had your reasons. This might be a place to launch them. If Matsushita plays, play him.
Right.
I mean that's kind of a no-brainer. For Ireland, I don't know what kind of lineup they're going to put out. They're probably going to put a mixed bag out. So Sexton might sick, but I would play Jack Hardy if you're ready to go with that. Connor Murray, Ringrose, go ahead. Aki Farrell, go ahead. Bestie, yes. Only Best. Any Irish hooker not named Rory Best, do not do it.
Don't bother.
Do not do it. CJ Standard, yes, and then obviously the starting props, I'd go ahead and do it as well. Furlong and Healy, if either one of them play, go ahead.
So for South Africa versus Namibia, don't worry about Namibia.
Pretty much.
Don't. If you have a Namibian on your team, well, congrats on living in Namibia or being a fan.
That's probably what it is.
But I wouldn't. Not
the place to play him.
Not where I would play if you're looking to score some fantasy points. The real question is who's going to be playing for South Africa. I would look at the wings because they should do fairly well, and then. I assume at this point that it's going to be Herschel Yankees who's going to be the
or Kobus.
Or Kobus.
It'll be one of two.
It would be one of the two. Figure out who the starter is. I think they would go with Herschel on this one to bring the young guy along and maybe have Kobus on the
that could be fun
as the backup. Willie LaRue if he's back there might be a good option. And then the forwards, it's really going to be a question of again who's playing. Malcolm Marks did not have his best game last time, so I'm wondering.
Tough opposition.
Yeah, extremely tough opposition. I'm wondering if they play him again. They and the locks go with the locks.
Yeah.
Whoever's playing lock.
Snaman.
Give
me some Snaman.
It's probably gonna be Snaman. Etzebeth or Mostert. One of them is gonna get at least one of them is gonna have a seat. And then. It's really a question mark as to the rest of it, who plays. So I would look, again, back three.
Yeah, you said back three.
Back three, scrum half, and locks is where I would be looking at for South Africa.
I like that idea. Georgia and Uruguay. Very much the same for Uruguay, as I said before. Yes, it's weird. They're gonna play twice in this game week. Can't do anything about it. But add in Ormachea, the guy that I said to sit, because I would be willing to bet he'd play this game. If he's not playing that first game, he's definitely playing this one. Georgia, the likes of Chilachava, Gojiashvili, and Mamuka Gogadze, I would roll with them as well. You can probably look at, maybe a Georgian wing. I thought whoever the hell the guy was that was sporting 11 was looking pretty good, but neither one of them were bad. So go ahead and roll those guys out there if you have them. If you don't have them, don't bother adding them. Just because that'll be a one-off, unfortunately. There you go.
Australia Wales.
This is start of week 3, by the way. Remember that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's when we're bumping into the next one because we're a little ahead of the game. Well, we are a little behind the game, so we will
be behind the game for sure next week.
So look for Australia to have a similar lineup to last time. I think I really do think Haylett Petty starts this one just because. Dan Bigger will run Kurtley Beale all the fuck over the field.
Yeah, and he's not nearly as fast.
And he's not nearly as fast, and that's going to be problematic. So I would look, first off, as I just said, Dan Bigger. He's one to look out for.
He scored well, and it's not a fluke.
Right. And then obviously all of their back three. Adams, North, Williams had a good match early. I know it was only Georgia, but... I would still look for them to do well.
They're quality players,
and their back row also.
Yeah, Navidi, Tipuric, Moriarty,
right?
The likes.
They'll probably be Moriarty in this one, not Wainwright.
Right.
Those are my players there. Australia. It's a question. I'm not sure who are they going to start at 10 on this one. If
not Bernard Foley.
Not Bernard Foley. I agree. Hooper is always a good. He's always going to get his carries. He's always going to get his meters.
Yeah, if he got his in that last game, he's going to get his in pretty much everything else.
Right, and I have a feeling that this match is not going to be terribly. It's not. I don't. Obviously, depending on weather, and we're a little bit far out. I could see this being a fairly open match. It'll be for as Wales and Australia go. It's not going to be 50 to 40, but I could see it being like a race to 30 points.
Okay.
For the winner. They both have issues defensively, and they both have the ability to, at times, I should say. Now Wales is fairly solid in defense most of the time, but you can sneak around them every so often. and same thing for Australia. There are gaps there that
Yeah.
both of these teams will take advantage of.
Fiji
It's gonna be like a. I think I could see it being a slugfest, but more of an open slugfest. It's not going to be the Ireland Scotland. It's going to be more of a expansive slugfest than that.
Back and forth, still a little bit of battering to go with it.
Right, a good mix of both. So again, Nick White's still a good option there too.
Yep. And then finally, Scotland and Samoa. We talked about the Samoans a little bit last time. Obviously, Alan Alatoa is playing in their next game. If he plays again, I'd definitely play him. Vui Asituala. That's another one that I would definitely roll out there. Don't play Ken Pesey. Don't play Lagavi Mulapula if they play. They're both wicked traps. So yeah, don't do that. For Scotland, if Adam Hastings is the fly half in this match, set him. Do not play him. If you have him if you're trying to be sneaky with your fly halves and you're trying to play him, bad. Scrum halves in this for Scotland, no, bad, bad. But Darcy Graham, like the back three, like kind of similar to what Ben's talked about. Hogg, Kinghorn, Graham, whoever it is, Seymour, good way to go, definitely for the Scottish team in this one. McNally's always the guy you want to roll out there.
Yep.
And Johnny Gray, I think, is going to be a guy you can continue to see produce because he knows how to, he can do it in multiple ways. He'll break the line. He won't freaking run away with it by any means, but he'll also make a lot of tackles. Wins a lot of lineouts. He does it in a lot of ways, so he's a steady Eddie that you can probably plug in.
And to me, that last bit you said about the tackles, that's going to be the big question because we know Samoa's one of those island nations that loves to move the ball and not take tackles. So just because you have a guy like Johnny Gray who is a tackle machine, it could be seeing a lot of offloads. So it's not something I would not sit him based on that. It's just something to consider.
Yeah, but like I said, he finds other ways. Okay, let's run through pick 'em really quickly here, and then we'll be done. Russia and Samoa.
I got Samoa.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, Russia.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Kind of a no-brainer. Fiji, Uruguay.
Yeah, Fiji.
Italia and Canada.
No, I got Italy.
Yeah, Italy. That would be a shock. That'd be a bigger shock than a lot of other ones.
And this next one's going to be
a shit show. England, USA. Me heart says says the U.S., but me brain says England.
I'm not gonna pick any winners. I'm just gonna say USA is gonna lose.
There you go. The RGs and Tonga.
See, this is the interesting thing because what if this gets in their head and they kind of shit the bed a little bit against Tonga? Is that going to be enough for Tonga can Tonga take advantage of that?
I don't know. They played their toughest match probably, so if they can kind of get their confidence up and get their tails up, then they could probably play with most teams. They've beaten France before in the World Cup. Will Argentina be the next one? I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to pick Argentina. I'm not going to pick Tonga on this one.
Right. Japan and the Irish. I know where you want to go with this, but
I'm really trying to figure out a way where I can say Japan will win this game.
It's tough.
I really want to pick them.
I know that.
And you know what? Since this isn't even for money, I'm picking fucking Japan.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take the Irish
because I think if any team can sneak up on Ireland and play a game that Ireland just isn't prepared to handle, I could see it being Japan.
Right. Georgia and Uruguay. I gotta back the Georgians. Even if they just smash the shit out of Uruguay
I'm
over and over again, and just kind of like step over for a try like we talked about last week.
I could see them doing that.
All right, here's a big one: Australia and Wales.
We're not going to even give Namibia a chance to win here.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I already penned them in like 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
I was like, ooh, well, sorry. No, sorry, Namibia. Your closest neighbors don't back down, unfortunately, do you?
No.
And then we start week 3, Australia and Wales. Now, obviously, this is a long way out. The other ones there's still some things to be sorted out, but I'm having a hard time picking against Dan Bigger.
I can't. I'm going with Wales.
Yeah. And then Scotland and Samoa. I'll give the Scots the nod because this is their get right game, and they can. Again, it's a tough team to do it against, but if anybody can hang with the Samoans in terms of their offload and their free-flowing play, I think the Scots can because of guys like Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg.
Yeah, those guys will be different.
They have a lot of mobile forwards. That was their problem in the last match.
Well, they have one less than they should have, but
right. But still, all their forwards are very mobile. That's kind of been the thing. They either have really fat forwards or they really have mobile forwards, which means they're a little smaller. So it's kind of pick your poison on that one. So.
Right, and I think I'm going to agree with you. Although I think Samoa are going to make this a lot more interesting than Scotland will like.
By far.
So I think it's going to be a squeaker. If there was a spread, I'd have to see the points before I made my decision. But if we're talking just outright, and outright. I'm going to go with Scotland.
Yep. Scotland by a nose.
So it's really going to come down to Ireland, Japan as to who finally takes the lead here.
Yes,
that's another reason. I'm gonna go big or go home.
Go big or go home. Swing for the fence.
I've lost this before. I can do that again. I'm all right with that.
It's not a new adventure for you.
No, and it's usually because I do shit like this.
Hey, it might pay off one time soon.
Eventually.
Blind squirrel flies do that, something like that, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Went a little bit over the time we wanted, but that's okay. We wanted to get as much advice out there for you guys. Normally, we would have only done 4 matches. We did 5. So be it. It's going to happen. I'm not mad about it. I don't know about you.
No, I'm all right.
Okay. But everybody, make sure that you are checking out. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. Leave us a review. We really like reviews. We want to know what you guys think because we want feedback. We want to know, are we really cocking this up or are we actually doing okay? That's down to you guys to tell us. We'll keep fucking about all day long if we don't hear otherwise. So, just leave us a review. Email fantasyrugbypodcast@gmail.com. Make sure that you are checking out those upgrades on TRM. They are worth it. I promise you. Even the basic one is absolutely 100% worth it. So please check those out. Other than that, we'll be back next week, and we'll be in the midst of Game Week 3. We'll try and get some advice out in the meantime. But other than that, follow Ben and I on Twitter, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Later.
Cheers.